Hey everyone, my name is Trina Young. I'm a co-managing director for Winding Road Theater Ensemble, and I want to tell you about a really exciting opportunity. Winding Road has some auditions coming up for our third annual 8 Tens in Tucson. It's a 10-minute play festival. We have 25 characters to cast, but ahead of those auditions, Winding Road is excited to sponsor a workshop that works with actors in this Zoom format and getting people a little bit more comfortable with that format. So I am joined today by the facilitator of that workshop, Joshua Lorris. Thank you so much for joining us, Joshua. Could you tell us a little bit about this workshop? When is it? Where is it? How can folks find it? And what can folks expect from it?
Yeah, thank you, China, and thank you to Winding Road Theater Ensemble for collaborating with me on this event. This workshop is called Technique for Online Performance, and it is all about how do we bring our live performance skills, those in-person skills, all the acting classes, dance classes, audition workshop classes that were in person to our most full performative self online and via Zoom. The workshops are 2 days. It's one workshop, 2 days. You can choose which days. There's two groups. March 31st, again, that's March 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And then Saturday, April 3rd at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So you get to choose. You could do one workshop. You could do both workshops, but the content is going to be pretty much the same. And we're going to be working core principles of how to bring human expression to technology and this technological extension, and everything from the spatial relationship of the body and gesture, like where am I in frame? Am I out of frame? Am I out of frame? Am I in frame? Do you look over here? Do you look over here? Do the eyes, how might the eyes just stay alive and give just the most subtle connection and experience to those at home in conjunction with a piece of text? So it's a great audition workshop where you can bring in a set text that you've been working with and plan to do the audition, maybe with Winding Road. And also, how do we use our voice? How do we use the body? How do we use gesture and all of those tools to this new kind of medium of online performance?
Yeah, and I would say it's not just for actors either. If people that are interested in directing, these are all really valuable um, concepts to investigate in this platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. It really is designed to create a new kind of language for people to communicate. And you're absolutely right that it's not just actors, but this could be a really great workshop for directors in how they can communicate to their actors and coach them into um, evoking and bringing the whole performance to life.
Very cool. Yeah, so it sounds a lot. I mean, the one challenge I think that most of us actors and performative artists in general are having in this time is that immediate feedback loop of the energy of a person in space with them, and how that energy, whether that is from your fellow actor or from your audience, impacts the performance. But in this space, you don't get to feel that energy. It's certainly not from your audience, maybe slightly from your scene partner, but a lot of this, as you said, helps to bridge that gap and really amplify and hone those skills of connectivity through the technology. Would that be a good summation of kind of what you said there too, or yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was really well put that we're currently, having to almost translate the experience of a partner, you know, through this through this technology, which we experience delays or glitches, and we're not in the same room, so we're not necessarily looking at each other, but it gives language and practice around how do we deal with timing? How do we deal with the spatial relationship from one person to the next? And how do we really take the tools of technology and learn how to use them in ways that's empowering, as opposed to just kind of taking what would be in person and putting it in front of a camera and recording it or just streaming it live.
Right. And also different from film acting as well. It's its own new kind of art form, it seems.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we learn a lot of good things from film, but also a lot of bad things from film too. So
It's true.
as we're trying to develop the technique of how do we work on Zoom, and how do we work with um, maybe false expectations that film, television, and cinema might have for what a Zoom performance could be. It's redefining an aesthetic.
That's awesome. And how much does this workshop cost?
Great question. So you can buy the workshop online, and it is $24.99. You can also buy the workshop through the Apple Store, the App Store. Um, and if you buy it through the App Store, it is $25.99. But it's hosted through my Mighty Network platform, Dynamic Frame Network. So when you sign up for the workshop, you actually get access to the membership of the entire network of people all over the world who are having conversations just like this. How do we bring our most dynamic, embodied self to the digital extension and integrate those tools in ways that um, are second nature, are a part of the human expression, and are a part of the creative choice.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So basically, for 24.99, you get this 2-hour workshop, but you also get access to your dynamic frame network that provides you with tips and preparations ahead of the workshop, as well as a community that people can go back to and discuss principles that they learned in the workshop or experiment, find other people that they can start to experiment with as well after the workshop. So it really creates like you said, a community and a support system almost for anyone who takes this workshop.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that in transitioning to online learning, or taking some of my teachings and practices online, I've been trying to find ways that go beyond just the Zoom in and Zoom out platform or way of learning. So with this network, and with people subscribing to the network, which is free, uh, they get access to the network, which gives access to different polls and articles and tips and resources of a larger community. But also with the workshop, you get kind of that intimate aspect of like showing up to a workshop where it's just the workshop participants in community having dialogue, creating conversation about everything from how to select text for an audition, or what kind of technology tools people are using, and how do you get technology tools without dropping a lot of money. Um, and it allows me to curate the space before the workshop and after. So I have a series of lessons or tips and ways of preparing for the workshop and other online events and performances. Everything from setting up technology, the space, your body, even how do you warm up for things like this. Then we have the workshop online. It's live with everybody else. And then there's a post-workshop curating of how do we take some of these tools and skills that we'll be working with and make a video, make a hashtag, record the video, submit the video, share the video with this intimate community that can then, ask, you can ask tips. You can just
Yeah, offer
take that,
feedback.
feedback, everything from feedback and curated feedback to just closing that loop of like, I practiced something and now let's take it all the way to fruition and perform it. Let's record it. Let's share it. As opposed to just practice, 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 and sometimes the learning doesn't actually happen until it's come to full form. So
Absolutely.
so yeah, with this, we're for $24.99. You get the workshop, the live workshop, 2 hours, but also a community, different activities and support and resources that are there for you to really do what you want to do, bringing back the live performance or performance aspects to online.
That's really cool. I will say too that something I really appreciate about that is that any workshops that I've taken in the past feel like if there's something I want to continue investigating, I have to do it on my own and I don't necessarily know where to look, or I get discouraged because I don't understand it as well as I want to. And so this actually would provide me with an opportunity to be connected with all of these people that also may have the same questions I do, or other professionals that may have the answers to my questions. So I think that's really awesome. And yeah, just a really phenomenal experience in general for the price and for this opportunity. Could you tell us a little bit really fast about like who you are, just a quick summary about like your background and kind of how that background informed your way into this work?
Yeah, I am a dancer. I dance for a dance company here, April Sellers Dance Collective in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I have a theater background in school. My MFA is from Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado, and my undergraduate degree is in theater dance from Luther College. And I also studied opera, so I theater dance and music. And a long history of performing, but also in teaching, um, just different ways of working. So I'm a trained Laban Bartinius movement analyst, and that is, for those that don't know, it's a practice of working with the body and body awareness through a system of language around basic principles, everything from patterns in the body to the energetic qualities that underpin our movements, and how do we work with people to evoke that expressive self. I'm a certified teacher in open source forms, which is a practice that is derived from Skinner releasing technique. Uh, SRT comes from the modern dance world, and it kind of sits on the sides. It's not a step-based practice, but it works with dancers or anybody really, and imagery, and how imagery can have psychophysical experiences with movement and a different look at technique. That's not about like fitting into a particular form. I'm also trained in a work called action theater, which is a physical theater form of improvisation, and it's a training program for improvisation and performance. And I'm also trained in the Six Viewpoints, so another program that comes out of the the 60s avant-garde and the deconstructionists of that era, and deconstructing different elements of design and performative headings, like things like space, story, emotion, movement, timing. And then just to say that like so much of my work is about bringing the contemplative self or the whole being to training, performance, creative process. And so constantly working with concepts like mindfulness and how do we cultivate the whole artist in all aspects of performance, both in preparation and in performance.
That's amazing. That's phenomenal. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me for just a moment. Just to sum up again, the workshop is Wednesday, March 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's also 7 p.m. Arizona local time. And Saturday, April 3rd at 1 o'clock p.m. Arizona local / Pacific time. And it's $24.99 unless you purchase through the Apple Store. So don't do that. Just purchase through the computer. You can be directed there through Mighty Networks, but perhaps an easier way to be directed there would be going to windingroadtheater.org. We will have the sign up available there to direct you to Joshua's network page. So you can sign up for either of those days or both, and get connected with not just Joshua but with Winding Road Theater. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope to see you all there.
Yes, please join us.